Ever wish vegan Parmesan actually tasted like the real thing and that you could grate it just like the traditional version? Well, today I'm showing you how to make a sliceable, grateable almond Parmesan that's nutty, cheesy, and surprisingly easy to make. This recipe came from me trying to find a vegan Parmesan that actually worked in real life. No weird powders, no weird textures, just whole food ingredients that you probably already have at home. It includes almonds, some potato starch, nutritional yeast, miso, and just a few other pantry staples. And yes, it tastes amazing on pasta, on salads, or even just with crackers. So let's start by adding some blanched almonds, water, potato starch, nutritional yeast, sea salt, white miso paste, lemon juice, and Dijon mustard into a high-speed blender. Blend until everything is completely smooth, no lumps allowed. Super smooth is the key here. If your blender isn't super powerful, you might have to pulse in intervals and scrape down the sides because you really don't want any tiny almond bits sneaking in. I usually start on a lower setting on my blender and then slowly increase the speed. And then even if I think it's already smooth, I'm going to leave it on full speed for another 30-ish seconds just to make sure it gets that extra smoothness. Once everything's smooth, you can pour the blended mixture into a Pyrex dish and smooth out the top with a spatula. The even surface just means that it makes it easier to slice afterwards, and it'll also make it look prettier. And if you want, you can lightly oil the dish. That makes it a little easier to remove. Then cover the dish with a lid or foil and steam for 45 minutes. And if you don't have a steamer, no problem. A strainer over a pot of boiling water works just as well, and you can just place the dish in there. On this occasion, steaming is gentler than baking because baking might actually dry out. Try to keep the water simmering gently. You don't want it boiling too hard, or you'll be creating bubbles in your Parmesan. Once it's steamed, just let it cool to room temperature, and then you can transfer it to the fridge to set for at least 4 hours, but ideally overnight. This is what gives it a perfect sliceable and grateable texture. And if you're impatient like me, you can speed it up slightly in the freezer for an hour or so, but the texture is the best if you wait. So the longer it sets, the easier it will be to grate cleanly. Once set, just remove the Parmesan from the dish. You might have to give it a whack or two to get it all out. And then you can cut it into wedges or whatever shape you like. And you're ready to grate it over pasta, sprinkle it on salads, cut little shavings, just enjoy it on its own with some crackers, whatever you really want. This cheese works perfectly everywhere you would use traditional Parmesan normally. And you can store any leftovers in the fridge for up to 2 weeks, or you can freeze the wedges for about 3 months. This is usually what I do. So I keep any extra wedges in my freezer. You can also grate it or slice it or anything like that and then freeze it in like a crumbled or grated form already. That's very convenient for if you only want like a little bit of Parmesan at a time. My favorite way of using this is grating it over a steaming bowl of pasta, but honestly, it's great anywhere you'd normally use Parmesan. Salad soups, roasted veggies, this little wedge of vegan magic makes everything better. If you try out this vegan Parmesan, let me know in the comments and let me know how you use it. And if you want the full recipe, I've got it on my blog. The link is in the description. You can even print the recipe card from there or save it for later. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more recipe videos, and I'll see you next time.